We're fucking live! Episode 20, boys.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of fucked that one up.
Yeah, dude. Bomber, it's not real.
Almost.
Episode 20. How's everybody doing?
Hanging out.
We got a
Great.
special one today. We got us a guest star hanging out with us today.
Yeah.
His name is Z. He's a guitarist, a producer, a keyboardist. What else do you do, man?
I mean, I kind of rap, but I don't want to limit myself to that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just want to be all over it with it.
Sick.
That's sick. So we're going to have a cool interview today. Our first, real legit interview. Next to Nate's interview that was back there, you know.
It was way back, dude. That was the roots.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into it,
Yeah.
local shows here in
Oh,
Oklahoma
yeah.
City. All of us that went to it, actually.
Yup.
All four of us.
Yeah.
It was over at 89th Street again. I
Really-
like that venue a lot.
I'm really
Fantastic
liking that
venue.
Huge fucking
Yeah, dude.
fan of it.
Really
It's
good.
very homegrown, you know. $3 beers, good local bands.
Security is chill as all hell. That dude did not get up the entire night.
No.
No.
I saw an old lady and a small child get railed into by a drunk 50-year-old man. That guy did not care.
Bro was scrolling TikTok.
So if
They
you're
were in
gonna
the
thrash,
pit. They
you're
were in the
gonna
pit,
mosh,
though.
you go to 89th Street, I guess, because you can fucking
You can run
elbow
around.
an old lady in the head.
No,
We do
that
not
was
condone
great.
violence.
I do.
Who was it? KIRRA, Oklahoma Blood, From the Grave.
Last one's hard to
Teneverum.
pronounce.
TENEVERUM. I talked to the guy. He was really
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, really neat, dude.
Yeah. Really good bands. It was a really great show. It's just so much fun. You know, you can't have that much fun for what was it, fucking $20?
It was 20 bucks
20.
at the door, man.
20 at the
Mhm.
door. I mean, shit. $3 beers, 20 at the door. That's
It's nothing.
a piece of history at this point.
That was ours, man.
Yeah.
I feel like a boomer talking about it.
Back
in my day, it was $15.
upcoming shows. Orbit Culture is going to be at Beer City.
That's the one I'm looking forward to.
Was it August 3rd? It's this Saturday.
Yeah, August 3rd.
All right.
Don't know a whole lot about that band. I listened to one song on YouTube. They're fucking heavy.
Hell yeah.
They're fucking heavy. I'm super stoked. They got multiple albums out, and it was recommended to me, and they said I needed to go. So, we're going, and I'm super fucking excited.
Hell yeah, man. That band was recommended to us by another person in a band. I mean, that was
Yeah.
apparently that's supposed to be some real shit.
I asked him, I was like, have you heard of Orbit Culture? And he was like, yeah. I was like, they're going to be here this weekend. And he was like, I'm going.
That's how you know.
Me too, I guess.
Legit.
Yeah. Other upcoming shows. Crowbar, Wichita.
Dude.
I'm fucking stoked for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Super fucking stoked for that
That's
one. Let me
gonna
get
be-
the date for you real quick.
It's gonna be huge. Yeah. I'm
Dude,
excited.
especially in fucking
November.
Wichita, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited to see who the local openers and stuff
Yeah.
are gonna be for that.
November 23rd at Temple Live.
How much are
Crowbar.
the tickets?
They're like $60, dude.
That's not bad.
Mate, 45 to 60 is what I found.
Holy
And
shit.
And it's
So, I
all
mean-
legit bands.
That's not bad at all, honestly, for a band that size.
Not for
you
a
know?
fucking legend like Crowbar.
Yeah,
For
dude.
real.
You know.
Pantera's $250.
Fuck yeah. Who was it? Lorna Shore at the Diamond Ballroom. I think it's in September. I think they're already sold out, but it was
Go if y'all can go to that,
$150.
dude. Go to that. I saw them back at the zoo, like in October or two ago.
Yeah.
Andor Jira. Fucking shit, dude. They were the best part of the whole show.
really. I mean, I've heard their music on YouTube. I mean, they're fucking brutal. So
They ripped, dude.
super fucking stoked. Any other? What was that other local show?
Non-point, I believe. Beer
Non-Point's
City.
coming. What was the other Shark Bite show? Their
They have
1
a
year-
whole.
They have a 1 year anniversary
exposition.
going
Yeah,
on.
let me get the address. I can't name all the bands because there's like 12, but
Yeah, they're having a big blowout for their 1 year.
I will get the
I don't know a whole lot about Shark Bite. They put on shows. I know that much. I know they're going to be a year old soon. Their show was the one we went to last time.
Yeah.
And it was fucking sick.
It's
Yeah,
August 11th, 400 Southwest 25th Street. So
What's the venue? Let me Google it real quick.
I don't know.
I hope it's at new location. That's what it says. It doesn't say a venue
Interesting.
on the poster at least.
Yeah, it just says
$20.
Oh no, it's a little theater.
$20 to get in. It's a fucking steal. It
Yeah.
looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bands.
Yeah, it's a theater.
7,
It's
8 actually.
Resonant Head?
Resonant plus head.
Resonant Plus Head?
I think that's what it says.
Great combination.
It looks sick. Oh, dude, they brew beer. I think it's a brewery. But
Oh,
it looks like a
dude.
theater on the outside. Either way, it looks sick. Go check them out.
IPAs and death metal. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man, I just got to say, that show that we went to, though, with, Oklahoma Blood, okay?
Fuck.
Let me say something. They weren't the main event here, okay? That was KIRRA's show, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma Blood, my God.
Tore the fucking roof off
killed
of that
it,
place.
dude.
That
Okay.
shit was great.
Them
Mhm.
dudes are something special. If y'all ain't heard them, go listen to them. They just started putting some shit on Spotify.
Where are they from?
They're from, like, Sallisaw, Oklahoma.
Sallisaw,
Just
man.
out in the
Place to
sticks.
be,
out by
dude.
Tulsa. Yeah, dude. These kids are, born and raised in the boonies. You know what I mean? And
Well,
fuck,
that
man, it shows.
5150 rig that guy was playing sounded fucking brutal, dude.
Yeah, of all the bands,
Brutal.
I'm just saying they were 100% my favorite.
We
I
got
was a
to
huge fan.
chat up the bass player afterwards, and he was fucking awesome.
So
dude.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Fucking awesome.
these guys are really down to earth. So
And man, Beyond the Grave, their sound was like peak. Like with it when it comes to like the mixing, they had that board on stage.
oh yeah,
That shit was amazing.
Yeah.
dude. Fuck, man.
His guitar sounded great, too. It was that Gibson Les Paul.
Mhm.
He reminded me so much of Typo Negative mixed with Metallica. I was
That's
like,
what
this guy's
literally-
the best.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing, dude.
Yeah, he was sick. I really liked that band, too.
Is that the dude
Hell of
that
a
looked
perm.
Like he
Hell of
was
a perm.
fucking
Mhm.
just absolute psycho. Broke out of the ward yesterday.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
It
had
was
the
fucking wild.
coveralls
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, that shit was fucking badass.
it was
dude.
sick.
Mm-hmm.
He put a real show on, dude.
Super talented. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Anyway,
What'd you think of the show, Mr. Z?
Dude, I thought it was fucking amazing. I didn't even know, like, for the past few years, I had no idea there were shows available for this cheap, and you could see bands that fucking great.
Yeah, you think $20 is gonna be a bunch of like art kids or some shit?
Yeah, literally. I wonder if it's been like that forever here, if that's just, like, the scene's starting to prop up.
just like
Well,
a
I think
real
COVID
small-
destroyed a lot of it.
Yeah.
I think COVID fucked everything up.
I
was
bet.
in Virginia when COVID started, and I mean, I fucking lost my job. That shit was sucked.
Fuck.
Everything was shut down, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Shit was bullshit. But I think it's coming back, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I'm
cool.
happy to push these bands.
I
I'm happy to
think-
go to their shows.
I
For
think
real.
that COVID did a number on the live stuff, but
Yeah.
I also think it kind of propped it up too at the same time. It's kind of weird to say that, right? But only because it kind of forced a lot of these small bands are like, fuck, I can't go to these small venues anymore. I
Mhm.
better start putting my shit online. More people heard it. And
That's
they're like,
true.
oh shit, they're right here. And then when the shit come back, like
Yeah.
all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I can go see these local bands that just posted a YouTube video.
Did you
Right.
see Lamb of God playing like a set through Zoom?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
saw that with
insane,
Metallica
bro.
too. Metallica did the same fucking thing. It was cool.
It was pretty
Little Zoom
cool.
concert,
I
yeah.
appreciated it, you know?
Did you guys watch any sporting events around that time?
The UFC was weird.
Dude,
UFC was
The
strange.
NBA was fucking hilarious. They had them in a bubble in Orlando, and for like a certain price you could pay, and they would stick a laptop in your seat, or a tablet on like a body kind of in your seat, and it's just a bunch of people in these fucking tablets just going crazy. They got all these signs. They're,
fucking
flipping
weird,
each other
dude.
off. People are flashing their wieners. You know what I mean? It was fucking chaos, dude.
goons,
And-
dude.
And it's just all these tablets with faces on them, and everyone's like fucking losing their shit, dude. It was hilarious.
So they'd
Yeah.
stick a tablet in your face. It was to show you like other audience members.
No, you'd be like on the tablet on one end, and they would stick your tablet in the seat at the arena in like a FaceTime style, but you're
Oh
facing
my
the court,
God.
dude.
Oh yeah, I saw that
That's-
shit.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
weird.
And people were holding up all these signs. It was hilarious,
How
dude. It was
fucking-
fucking
So like
hilarious.
the people, the seats were occupied by tablets.
Yeah, by tablets with faces on them. It was kind of creepy, dude.
That is so fucking weird, dude.
It was a
Wieners.
time. It was a time.
Wieners, apparently.
Yeah, you just look up after shooting like the nastiest
just an
fucking
asshole.
shot you've ever
Oh, yeah.
Some guy cranking it.
Christ,
Lord.
bro.
It's Omegle NBA, dude.
LeBron.
Oh no.
Well, instead of talking about wieners, let's talk about music, specifically your music.
Yeah.
What how'd you get into this? Where did it start? What did you start listening to? Where was the song where you're like, holy shit, I don't know what this is, but I need more, you know?
Oh man, I've been wanting to make music since I was really young. Like when I first got into like Korn and
Dude, that was my band.
yeah, that was like how I got into metal. And when I
Yeah.
heard shit like that, I was like, dude, if only I could make shit like this, but
Yeah.
it's just not me. It's just I'm just not that guy. And then
It's too hard.
yeah, and then over time, you know, eventually I learned how easy it was to do production. Like I started watching videos of producers who were like literally just throwing shit together. They would just go on the keyboard, record something,
So
put a little
I don't know shit about producing.
yeah.
I don't know fuck all about recording. I can play guitar. I've done a couple live shows. I've had a band. That's it. So as far as like the producing side, when you say you're a producer, are you like putting those blocks together on screen and moving them? Like what is production to you?
More or less. I mean, I said it was easy, but I would say it's like it's easy to get into. It's extremely difficult to get really good at it.
Yeah.
But
What is it?
yeah, basically you're just like, I mean, for me, my process is I'll just hook up instruments. I'll download an instrument, or I'll like find an instrument that's already on the DAW, and then I'll like put it on a certain channel, and I'll just go on my keyboard and record a certain melody, figure out what I like, play around a little bit, freestyle a little bit till I find something I like.
So you use your keyboard as the input to your computer,
Yeah.
and then instead of sounding like a normal piano, you can download other instruments. I probably sound dumb as fuck right now, but I don't know shit about this. But you use that as your input method, and then whatever key you press is the pitch that instrument makes. and then
Exactly.
you just mix it up from there.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah,
Shit.
and then you can go in, like, say you're using a synth. You can go in and do a shit ton of modifications to the synth to make the sound different, and it'll change the pre-recorded track to sound completely different from how it did, say, when you recorded it. Like, say if you're moving forward and you're like, oh, I really like this drum loop, or I really like this percussion, but it doesn't really work well with this sound, you'll
Yeah.
just go in, tweak a few knobs. I mean, it's great.
That's super sick.
dude.
hmm
So what kind of so you do this? So what kind of music do you like to produce? Like, is there a certain like genre you like to stick in?
No, I don't like
Personally?
to stick in any specific genre, but I'm learning, or I have learned predominantly through like techno style stuff. So like synths, really rhythmic shit is the shit I'm
Okay.
down with. And mostly, I mean, I just took my knowledge of playing keyboard and translated that to production. And right now I'm just doing it for fun. Eventually I'll have some products out, some projects like done that I'm ready to show the public. But for now,
Yeah.
it's just something I enjoy doing.
It sounds like that just takes like a massive amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, just sitting there adjusting everything,
At first.
getting the loop correct. Like I tried his fucking looper on his Black Star yesterday night, and I couldn't push the button at the right time, and it looped it, and the loop sounded shit, and you couldn't play with it. It was a problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing with, like, when you have a whole digital audio workstation set up, you can just, like, tweak exactly the time. So say I
Yeah.
hit it a little late, I can just keep recording and then be like, okay, I'm just going to move it back a little bit.
Yeah, you can move it, trim it,
Yeah.
fit it right where it needs to be.
So
yeah.
what if-
Exactly.
So I understand, like a keyboard is a button, right? You
Yeah.
push the button, and then you can move that keystroke time-wise to the left or to the right, earlier or later, correct?
Yeah.
What about a guitar note that isn't like an immediate, like determined length of time? Can you move that shit around too?
You can. There's probably better ways to do it, but the ways that I would know how to do it is just by, like, going in on the, like, you just use your mouse and like you'll just move it back and forth.
But you can move like individual notes.
Oh yeah,
That's
because
crazy.
you have like a whole MIDI setup. So like if you play guitar, it'll have the MIDIs, like it'll record all the notes you're hitting and put it on like a keyboard. You
shit.
still play the guitar, but it has like this whole keyboard setup, and you can just like move the notes around. You can even change the note if you hit the wrong note.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That clears a lot of things up.
Yeah, man.
I've heard a lot of music that I'm like, wow, that is
That's how they get it on point.
very tough to do that
Yeah.
perfectly.
It's
It's
crazy.
it's a composite essentially at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
That's awesome.
Hey, so on production, what was like the first real record you heard where you were like, okay, I think I think this makes me want to kind of take the next step, and maybe I'm gonna try to make some beats and shit, you know?
All right. Low key, this might like be a little corny to anyone who's familiar with the genre, but 17 by XXXTentacion, I heard that and it completely like changed my mind on what is possible for hip hop and what is possible for like how you can translate your emotions into a song.
Yeah.
Because beforehand, I was just like, oh, I would play guitar. I mean, I got into music a little earlier than that because I was playing music with Nate more recreationally. We had a couple bands we put together, but they never worked out because I had to move away. Shit just happened.
Yeah.
It didn't happen like that. But before that, I would just mess around with instruments. And then once I started to see like, oh, this gives you complete mastery and control over your sound. So you can literally put your heart on the track through a production software. And you can do the same thing with a guitar. You can do the same thing with a keyboard. It's just a little more limited, you know?
Yeah.
You're not limited by like the physical skill of it as long as you understand the programming.
Yeah. And I saw how he really just, honestly, he just portrayed his emotions in such a raw way through the music that I was like, damn, like, if I could figure out how to do that, I could take my self-expression to a higher level to where people could understand where I'm coming from with my emotions a lot better. It was more a personal thing when I got into
cool.
it.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that's
man.
amazing. I can relate. I can definitely relate to that. Like, as a guitarist and pretty much strictly a guitarist, I started with a piano. You know, my mom plays piano.
That's cool.
So I did piano lessons as a kid, and it just really wasn't hitting. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, you know, music's cool, it's fun, but, you know, then you heard your riff, and you're like, holy shit, I want to go over there and do that.
I want them strings.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and just hear that just bone-crushing fucking and I'm like, I'm all about that. I want to do that, you know. And the connection between, you know, music and your personal emotions is so strong to where, and I've said this before about live shows. I prefer live shows. I like listening to albums, you know, don't get me wrong. They're fucking sick. I like putting on good music. But like to go to a live show, you actually get to see that connection like raw in front of you. And it's my personal opinion, the bands that go up there and you can really see that they're just like sold. You know what I mean? They're just sold on what they're playing. It makes the show a million times better.
It's powerful,
You
dude.
know? So
Yeah.
I can relate to that. I couldn't relate to sitting at a computer all day doing that. But I mean, the end product is most likely the same result, I assume, right?
It's a
More or
skill
less,
in a
yeah.
different way, right?
I've done some
Yeah.
producing, and it's like once I finally got it, I was like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? After you redo your vocals 10 times and like try to do all this funky shit to the guitar to make them sound less shitty and take all that gain out of it. But once you did it, you're like, fucking victory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I believe it, man.
And on top of that, you can throw any drums you want onto it. It really just gives you complete control over a song.
Funny.
Yeah,
stuff.
because that like a fucking drum set's like $2,000,
Yeah.
and you got to have room for it.
Yeah, I couldn't
You know?
afford that shit.
I wish I
Mo-
could.
And
That'd be
neighbors.
sick. I'd
Yeah.
fuck around
Neighbors
with a
fucking
drum
come
set all the
shoot your
time,
ass.
dude.
Yeah, dude.
That'd be sick. No, that's super interesting, man.
So Korn is where you started, and that made you feel like you couldn't do it. And then I don't even know how to pronounce that dude's name. The old dirt road dude. Yeah.
No,
X-
that's
or-
Lil Nas
You
X.
think it
Is that the same
No,
guy? No.
No.
X, dude.
Who's his,
XXX.
what does he do?
Tentacion.
Dude,
I'm not
he
big on
was.
that.
He's a complicated character. There's a lot of controversy around him, so I won't
Yeah.
go too far speaking onto that. But what I will say
There's
is
a thing there. I don't know. Whatever.
this might even be a controversial take when I say he was a good artist. He's probably one of the most versatile artists to ever hit the hip hop scene, and
Okay.
it's sad what happened to him, how he died so early. I wonder if he was around today, what he would have done. He'd probably be in prison, but
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you know, you can't
bro
do
was
that.
in them streets.
Yeah.
You can't do that, but also at the
Stabbing
same
people.
time, it's like just for an example, you know, Bill Cosby got in trouble. You can't say he's a bad comedian, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to separate the,
Yeah.
the artist from the person. You know,
Mhm.
that's a big thing, right? Not saying don't hold them accountable for things, but
you absolutely should. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You can't take like a whole body of art that has all this good in it and just throw it away because one person did some bad shit. You know,
I agree with that.
yeah.
What
Yeah,
about
100%.
serial pedophile Gary Glitter?
Who's that?
We're throwing him out. I'm just kidding.
Hold up. Hold up.
Did he make music though?
You know that song you hear at every like football game?
Da-da-da, da-da-da.
I can't remember it.
Da-da-da,
You know it if I
da-da-da.
played it, dude. No.
No,
You
not
know
that
if
one.
I fucking played it. But yeah, dude is like a fucking serial diddler. But
Jesus.
I mean,
I just thought it was funny that I was like, who can I bring up?
you're putting me in a rock and a hard place. Here,
It gets
all
to
right?
a certain point where you kind of have to be like, okay, fuck that person entirely.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
it's
said
like
it
we're-
before. I said it again.
It's
dude.
like where Kanye's getting.
Don't
It's
do
like,
that.
Yeah,
Don't do that shit.
for real.
So crazy, man. What a world.
hmm
Shout out Gary
Corn.
Glitter.
Corn is where you started with metal.
Yeah, and that shit was like way too complicated for me to like. I was trying to hear all the individual bits to it because that's honestly, it's part of I think what led to me getting into production is every time I would hear music, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna try to hear the individual
You started
instruments.
taking it apart.
Yeah, exactly. Like what built this, and then with Korn, it was just so complicated. Trying to hear all the notes, trying to hear like what they're doing with the bagpipes at the same time.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Don't even get me fucking started on his vocals,
Oh, they
dude.
made a fucking record, dude.
Yeah.
They made multiple.
Mhm.
I remember my I want to say, so because I was raised Christian, I was very isolated
hmm
from, you know, a lot of metal, right? A lot of music. And we got Guitar Hero 2, right? The little plastic guitar. Yeah. And I played guitar prior to plastic guitar, right? And I hear the song Mother, and I was like, holy fuck, dude. And then I was like, I got to get into this shit. So, you know, you talk to your friends at school, you get CDs passing around, and my buddy let me borrow the, what is the Korn album with the shadow and the swing?
That's their
Follow the Leader.
No, that's their debut.
Yeah.
It's self-titled.
their
Are you
debut album.
Yeah, self-titled '94.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
Hang on, what's a CD?
It's the one with,
Yeah,
it's the
fuck
one with like
me, dude.
Daddy on it and shit, or
look
and
this up.
Clown. Yeah.
Go ahead and look it up. But there's a track
Jamie?
on there. The song's called Ball Tongue. And that
Oh, yeah.
that is the first time I heard someone just like, and I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? How could it get any better than this? You
Oh,
know?
God.
And I was just sucked down in it, dude. Sucked down in it. So
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So you're a bit of a guitarist, you're a bit of a keyboardist, you're a bit of a producer, you're a very complicated, talented individual, right? But
More or
mainly
less.
mainly producing, right? So this,
Yeah.
this is guitar practice. Favorite riffs. And it could be riffs that you could play, it could be riffs that you heard and you're like, holy shit, I don't know why that's so, because we always talk about what makes a riff heavy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ozzy and Black Sabbath were playing regular tuned guitars for the longest time. Motorhead, regular tuned guitars. Some of the heaviest riffs. Danzig, regular tuned most of the time, I believe. Don't quote me
Yeah.
on it. When you listen to a riff, what is one of your favorites, one of your go-tos where you're like, Jesus Christ, that is crushing?
Yeah.
And B, what do you think makes a riff heavy?
Oh, dude. Okay, so if I'm going to shout out a particular riff, I want to shout out the intro to Wherever I May Roam by Metallica.
Okay.
That shit is just so powerful. Like,
It's
the
great.
moment you hear that, it's like you're moving, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah.
And I guess, I don't know, what I would say makes a riff heavy. That's a good question. But, because, I mean, my initial instinct would just be like, gain. But,
right. Yeah.
More gay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's just a part of it, you know? You gotta, I guess, it's about how you hit it. It's about, like, how you're, like, whether or not it portrays that, like, you remember how I was saying you can put your emotion into a song, whether or not it portrays that emotion you're hitting, and especially if it's an emotion like, frustration, anger, or even doom.
Yeah.
If you're going for those kind of aesthetics, it's gonna be heavy.
It comes through in like a really weird way.
Yeah.
It's like when you, for some reason, like you just play it a little differently, but when you don't play country, you can play a lot, pretty much the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
Where you just swing it.
You know, when I hear country riffs and licks, I'm like, I look at these good old boys getting down with some beers, having a good time outside. You're always outside when you're listening to country,
Right.
maybe on the lake. You know what I mean? And then metal just takes you to a whole different place, and it can take you to a couple different places. You know, there's like the softer, like, you know, somebody in pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then there's like the you can almost feel like the will to fight a battle in some
Yeah,
tracks where
seriously.
you're like, Jesus Christ.
Like the gates
I
of
gotta
hell
get in a
just
fight
opened.
right now.
Yeah.
For whom the bell tolls.
So
Yeah, literally.
am I wrong? Is that Tool song Schism? That intro and that isn't that like no gain? That's like
very,
a clean
very
channel.
clean.
Yeah, and
Very
that's
clean, very heavy.
That's absolutely fucking heavy. Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
played on a bass, right? But isn't it?
Yeah, the intro is
Yeah,
played on the bass.
yeah,
The
it's played on a
bassist is
bass,
fucking
right?
insane.
Which he's fucking nasty. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's like. So I have no fucking idea what makes a riff heavy, right? Because
Yeah.
it can't be.
It's a loaded question.
I know.
That's
why I asked
huge
it.
one, dude. That's a big one.
It's got to
No,
be
that was a good
intention.
answer.
It's got
I
to be
think so.
intention.
It's intention. Yep.
Intention and I think it's a lot of it is songwriting too,
Mm-hmm.
because there's only 6 fucking notes. If you delete all the sharps and flats, there's like 6. It's not a lot of work with,
Right.
But it is at the same time.
Yeah.
You know?
When you put that in, depending on the energy you put into it,
Yeah.
you fucking
Right.
basic ass shit. If you play the hell out of it, you can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Hell
And
yeah.
certain keys just sound heavier too.
A is
Mhm.
heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A is fucking heavy. E is heavy.
Right. But then you got some which are just like melancholic,
Yeah.
and some that just feel like a Bob Marley song. Like it's just like
Don't
Yeah.
worry.
G. G is chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It
I
doesn't-
feel like you can twist any of it to make it how you want, depending on how you structure the riff or the song.
It doesn't get heavier than Bob Marley, first of all. but-
Heavy fucking eyes, maybe.
Yeah.
Makes me want to go to sleep and relax.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, so
Hell yeah.
back to hip hop.
Yeah.
So you're kind of in the hip hop community. You've worked with rappers and stuff, other artists.
Yeah, here and there.
What's your biggest takeaway from collaborating with other artists as a producer and as a rapper in that genre?
Ooh, good question.
Because you can't just call your buddy over and be like, "Yo, bring your guitar, we'll make some shit."
Yeah.
It's like I gotta make a beat, I gotta figure out the vibe, and then I'll send it to you. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, you can pull somebody in and make some shit if you get somebody who's like serious about it. You can. It happens.
Yeah, like a dedicated session kind
Yeah.
of thing. Okay.
It'll be a few hours, but you can get it done. You can churn out some good shit. But I would say the biggest thing when it comes to finding people to collaborate with when you're making rap is you gotta know the artist. You gotta know who you're picking. You know what I mean? You gotta know who you're working with, because you don't want to. If your sound is completely different from another person's sound, sometimes it can work, but sometimes it just doesn't. And on top of that, you could get an artist or somebody who's like half baked. They're not that serious about it, and like
Slow playing.
yeah, or even that, maybe they'll never make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'll send them the beat and be waiting fucking God knows how long.
It happens.
I mean, I've experienced
But, I mean,
that definitely.
And in the last song I was working on, it kind of was like that. But then when he came through, it was fucking
Yeah.
sick, dude. So honestly, I'm kind of happy I waited, because I knew I was waiting on somebody who was like actually going to come through and make something tight.
Yeah, and he's not like full time, so you're not expecting it back in like a week or two. Or anything like-
Exactly.
you're not like tomorrow, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I
ladies
mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, we all have jobs.
Right, right. But there's some
sucks.
yeah. But then there's some people who will just be like, "Oh yeah, we'll get together, we'll work together. Yeah, we'll make this."
Never.
And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got this beat." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, well let me spit some shit real quick." And then they just start spitting like it's not. They haven't even heard the fucking beat. You know what I mean? And they're just spitting like expecting it to like me to just put that on a track. I'm like, dude, like
So-
you got to work with me here.
Yeah.
For musicians that want to work with you, what would be your advice to make things flow and actually work? Like, do you have any tips? Guitarists are fucking very proud
Yeah.
You know, at a minimum.
You
know
gotta
what I
talk
mean?
them off a cliff about
There's
everything.
a lot of
Yeah.
ego, you know.
It's like that with hip hop to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But I would say that if you want to make working with somebody as easy as possible, then or flow as smooth as possible when it comes to hip hop, then you got to be willing to compromise a little bit. You can't fully put you can't go on somebody else's song and be like, okay, I'm going to make this mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't fully put your vision on it because at the end of the day, it's somebody else's song. Or if you're coming together and making the song together, you got to be willing to be like, okay, well, say I'm putting on a synth. You know what I mean? And the guy I'm working with is like, well, I don't really like that. I'm not going to be like, no, we're using this synth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck around a little bit, and if we can't find anything else, maybe I'll return to that.
Yeah.
But
Don't walk in like dedicated to a sound, pretty much. Don't.
So like flexibility.
yeah,
Yeah, keep it
flexibility,
open.
exactly, adaptability.
Yeah,
I would
that's cool.
say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Willing to tweak yourself when you need to, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well, I've noticed just like, because I write a little bit here and there, nothing crazy, but I think it's fun, and two, it's a good exercise, and it's fun.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
it is.
I feel like, to me, I don't know if this happens with your style of creation or not, but I'll be at work or I'll be in the shower and it'll just come down.
Just
I'll be
pop
like,
into your
holy
head.
fuck, here it is. And
Yep.
I'm like making noises into my phone, or trying to get the riff out, like or fucking immediately like dry my hands off in the shower and type lyrics, But also, I found if you go into, your room or your studio, wherever you practice or play, and you go in there and you just kind of, without intention, I feel like it makes it really easy for stuff to kind of just come out. You know what I mean? Is that the same for you when you're producing?
No, I wouldn't say so. It does
quite.
just come to you when you're producing. Like you said, you're in the shower and it just comes to you. Like there are times where I've had just bars pop into my head. And I'm like, holy shit, that's really good. I got to write that down.
Yeah.
Or even like sounds. But then when you come to the software, especially if you don't have a vision going in, some people can do it. Some people can do it really well. People train themselves on it. But
Yeah.
I've found a lot of struggle where I'll like come in and like get on the software and just be like, okay, I'm going to make some shit today. I'm going to be done with some shit by the end of this. And then I'll spend 2 hours tweaking with synths because I can't find a synth that I like. Yeah.
No, I get that. I can fall into, I guess for guitarists, it would be the tone trap. You sit there and just fuck with your pedals,
Yeah, dude.
Doesn't sound heavy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't get to wah properly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think if you kind of delete all distractions
Mm-hmm.
and just go into a space where you're like, okay, we're just going to play guitar. And we're not going to play anybody else's song. We're just going to play guitar. And sometimes nothing fucking happens. And you're like, oh, well. But then sometimes it just, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It
I
just
know
kinda
what you mean,
pops out.
I think the key with that is creating like controlled limitations for yourself.
Yeah.
At least with production. I can't really speak on the guitar front very much, but I would imagine it's similar. But with production, like, if I really want to do it and just make a song for fun, and like, I would just have to be like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to release this. I'm just going to pick some random fucking synth and make something with it.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, going through all these different synths, going through all these different drum tracks, I'll just pick one, and then if I don't like it, fuck it. I'm going to keep working with it until I like it,
Yeah.
Even that, though, can get tricky because then you start fucking with the knobs and.
Yeah, I agree.
You get hooked on a loop or some shit, and you're like,
Yeah.
I can't make the loop better.
Exactly. But that's how the people who are producers who like can
Needs to
come in
sound
and
nastier.
Yeah, literally. But the people who like churn out a song in an hour, those motherfuckers, that's how they do it. They'll create limitations for themselves and they'll be like, okay, I'm going to work within these confines.
Focus it down.
Exactly.
It's almost like a workout, like you put yourself in a difficult situation and try to get something out of it so you can, I don't know, it's like a muscle, That's a lot of reason why I write, other than the fact that it's a lot of fun, I think that muscle has to be like worked for it to work better.
Use it or you lose it, you know?
Yeah.
That was a lot like when we talked about, like I used to play saxophone, right?
Right.
I played that for a lot of years even.
It's
And
badass.
yeah, it was super sick, right? And I was really good at it, truthfully, but I put it down for so many years. I didn't work that muscle, right? And it was all creative stuff I was working on. It was a lot of freestyle stuff, it was hardly ever like I'm playing someone else's music, it was a lot of just making my own sound out of it. But man, I put it down for so long, and when I picked it back up after 5 or 6 years, no, it was longer than that. It was longer than 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked it back up, and it's like, dude, everything just like fell apart.
Yeah.
It's just gone forever.
I know what you mean. I played clarinet in band in middle school, and I
Did
cannot
you?
imagine trying to pick one up. Like if I tried to
God.
make a little melody on it, I'd be completely lost.
Yeah.
I don't remember what any of the notes are. I don't remember how to make any sounds on that shit.
Yeah,
I don't even remember how to blow into it right,
Yeah.
So, do you read music? Like to
No.
adjust everything?
No, I
You
don't
just
read
go
music.
right off of how it sounds.
Yeah.
That's sick, man. Were you? Did you have to develop your ear, or were you born with it? That's another controversial topic for you.
That's a good question. I don't really know. I mean, from as long as I can remember, I'd get grounded a lot as a kid. So I would just be in my room humming to myself. So I know that for as long as I can
Fuck, dude.
Yeah. Well, for as long as I can remember, I was just making melodies for fun.
It's like that System song.
Yeah.
In my desolate room.
Yeah. No lights, no music.
Yeah, dude.
Hello, me.
Exactly. I think that guy's been by himself forever.
So did your Dio poster used to talk to you off the wall?
Oh, speaking of which, what the fuck?
What?
They fucking quit the tour.
Yeah, we
They're-
talked about
they're-
that.
Yeah, but I don't, there's been rumors that they're like breaking up and shit.
Oh my God.
I fucking hope
That's
not,
so
dude.
weak. That's so weak.
It was a funny joke.
That's so
And I
weak.
like Trump.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Come on.
I mean, it's the same thing as all these people freaking out about like the fucking Olympics, dude.
What are they? Why? Why are they freaking out about the Olympics?
Because everyone's like they're mocking the Last Supper, and they're like, my kids were watching, and the headless lady came on, and Gorgira comes out of the fucking castle.
Oh yeah, I heard they played.
It was sick.
Yeah,
Was
that
it
shit's
badass?
badass.
It was sick. Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
And now everyone's
was it
throwing a
Marie
fucking-
Antoinette?
Yeah, bitch
Yeah, she
needed
got
your
her
head cut off
in real
Yeah.
life.
French people hate that bitch. Fuck her.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
And Gorgira's French. Let them do it. But they're mad. They're mad about the Last Supper.
it wasn't even that though.
It's
Like
like,
when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is kind of disrespectful, just a little bit. But then I looked into it further. It's actually a mock of the Feast of Dionysus. It's a pagan thing, which people are still pissed off about.
What does
The
that
same
mean?
people.
What is the? Tell us about that.
Dude, I wouldn't
It's
know
like
too much about that.
It's
but-
like a multi-day festival where you just have a big, loud, fucking obnoxious party, and people dress up like the guy. Get a little wild, you know what I mean?
Like
it's
Halloween?
it's a French thing, kind of. It's
yeah,
like
I mean, Dionysus is like he was like a
it's like a doll
party
house.
god almost.
Yeah, it's fertility
Whoa,
and love.
dude, what a
Fertil-
god.
Yeah.
Fertility and love. Yeah,
What a guy.
Interesting.
but yeah,
Huh.
it's like, man. I mean, we live in a part of the country where like a lot of people, whether on the fucking on whatever side, you get a lot of representation if you're more right leaning.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of representation if you're Christian.
It's the
You
Bible
get-
Belt, boy.
You get a fucking say in the law around this motherfucker.
Right.
Yes.
Not in most of the country, but around here you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And they're the pissiest, bitchiest people ever, dude. It's like if someone wants to make a joke about your favorite political guy getting shot, why do you care? If they want to make fun of your religion a little bit at the Olympics, get in line. Everyone gets fucking made fun of.
I'm surprised that Jack Black cares. Honestly,
Exactly.
I don't
dude.
think he really cares, dude.
Exactly.
I think
it's
it's
his PR
he
team.
was in a
I
whole
hope he
movie
doesn't
where they were like
care.
mocking mentally ill people.
That
Like,
is
come on,
also
dog.
True.
Seriously.
It's got to be like a
Come
public
on.
figure.
I mean, he was in
sort of
Tropic
appearance.
Thunder. There's
With-
blackface in that movie.
Dude.
With blackface,
Yeah.
Ben Stiller acting fucking not
Never
right.
retard.
Simple Jack.
Never go
dude.
full retard.
Jesus, that was funny.
Yeah, you
That's-
get mad over that, dude. Come on now.
Why is Tropic Thunder is always the one you bring up? You're like, hey, you were in this movie.
Yeah, I'm
It was a
just
wild
saying.
movie.
It's fucking crazy. If they made that
It's a
movie
good point,
today,
though.
holy fuck, dude.
They wouldn't.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
I think they
never.
should.
You
It would
couldn't
never.
pay Robert Downey Jr. $20 billion to do that now, dude. No way.
20 billion's a lot of money.
I can't stoop
I'm-
to such
Yeah.
lows.
He's cool. He's a cool guy.
Eh.
I think he would. $20 billion?
I think
$20 billion.
I think he'd offer.
that's a lot,
I don't
dude.
think he'd do anything to
You know who
to get
would?
those people to stick after him. I don't think he wants the internet against him.
What happened to when directors just or not? Robert Downey Jr. is an actor.
Yeah.
Well, what happened to when people in the movie scene actually wanted to push against the status quo? What happened to that? That used to be like the whole thing that Hollywood
They
did.
didn't win. They stopped winning awards because the majority of people who represented that just decided one day, like, oh, we're just gonna pretend like we're better than everybody, and if you make anything lowbrow or overly violent or offensive,
I'll
we're
tell
just
you
gonna
who still
pretend you
goes
don't
fucking
exist.
hard. Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That dude does not give a fuck,
No.
bro.
He never did.
That shit. All his movies are the shit.
Mm-hmm.
All of his movies are the shit. And he
His-
pulls zero punches.
Has Johnny Depp been in a Quentin Tarantino movie?
I don't know. That'd be sick, though.
I bet that would be that'd be a good one.
Y'all ever
Whatever it is,
seen
I don't care.
From Dusk Till Dawn where he wrote a scene specifically for Selma Hayek to pour liquor down her leg through her foot into his mouth?
God, yeah, dude.
Bro is not beating the toe fetish rumors.
No, I don't think he wanted to.
Feet are fucking
He was
gross,
like,
dude.
finally
Shit's
my
so funny.
chance.
Yeah.
He wrote it in the
Jesus.
movie and
This
then
is what I
cast
did
himself for
this-
the role.
Yeah,
Right.
this is what I, it's just like
fucking
Pulp
hate it,
Fiction.
dude.
It's like, why'd you write yourself in being like super racist? You
He's
know
like,
what I
you know
mean?
what? I think I'll take this role if nobody else will do it. And everybody's like, I'll do it. He's like, yeah, so nobody else wants to do this. I'll do it.
Yeah, but at the same time, when was like, you remember when you went to the movie theater and you saw all the commercials and you're like, holy shit, that thing looks like a banger. That looks like a banger. That looks like a banger. And maybe we're overexposed right now. You know, maybe we're just drowning in fucking
Dopamine
media and
hits.
content now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I haven't seen a commercial. Well, there's been one or two, but it is very few and far between where I'm like, ooh, I gotta fucking see that movie in theaters, you know?
Right.
Because nobody's really taking any chances anymore.
In a land where everybody is politically correct.
Yeah.
I want to see that movie.
PC movies suck. Like they just suck.
Low-key.
It's just not exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Safety's not exciting.
That was the point of like the big screen and all that was like controversy, dude. Really?
Yeah.
You just throw out all kinds of crazy controversy of things that probably shouldn't happen, but you
Yeah.
know, just having fun, making a joke about it. Like
It's on the TV. It's not
real.
real.
Yeah, dude.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what's one movie that did get me a little hyped though?
What?
That had a great trailer. It is kind of a PC movie, but the Barbie movie trailer was sick. The whole reference.
Have you
to,
watched Barbie?
Yeah,
It's fucking lit.
yeah, it's
I
pretty
haven't
good.
seen it.
Dude, it's
I haven't
so
either.
good, dude.
It's honestly pretty good.
I laughed
Okay.
my fucking ass off in that movie.
And when I saw the trailer was a whole reference to Stanley Kubrick's 2001, I was like, dude, I gotta see how they play off of this.
Yeah.
I gotta see it. And
Watch the Barbie movie.
They kinda
It's
did.
good.
Yeah.
All
right.
It's really good.
That was an
I'm not
unexpected
bullshitting.
recommendation today. I'll
Honestly.
tell you that much.
Well, I mean, it's not like I went to the movie theater by myself. you
Yeah,
know,
no.
obviously.
I didn't realize that was going to be the recommendation though, but
No.
that's kind of funny.
I was expecting like that one movie with the serial killer lady.
yeah,
Eileen Wuornos
I think
What is
that
it?
killed a
Scene?
bunch of
It just
where
came
the
out,
actor
dude.
got like obese for it. Wasn't it Charlize Theron or something? Charlize Theron.
Isn't that
you talking
I
about the
know-
one in like Hollywood with the girl who's like
one
trying
that's
to be
like
an
a
actor?
series, dude?
Yeah, that's Maxine.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was Maxine.
Good movie.
That's
Good
what
movie.
I thought you were gonna say.
No.
Nope, Barbie's better.
Barbie. Bro.
Barbie was better.
I do have another question about the hip hop kind of scene.
Yeah.
Okay, so my biggest deal when getting into hip hop is that I'll find a lot of underground artists that are really pushing stuff, that are really trying to do something different, for
Mhm.
better or worse, you know what I mean? And comparatively, when I go try to check out more mainstream artists, there's this massive separation, which, I mean, that's there in metal too, but it's a lot less. It's mainly just like some vocal and tone styles
Yeah.
from mainstream metal to...
I mean,
more
any niche
underground
in metal
shit.
can get big.
Yeah, that's true. But in hip hop, it's like a fucking two totally different genres. One of them is basically like this weird, like super auto tune, radio friendly shit, and then underground is just like still hardcore. Like, what's your take on that, man?
Well,
Why do you
I
think
mean,
there's a divide.
I would say that there's a lot of underground shit that could be mainstream. There's a lot of underground shit that is very much like that, where it's just like auto-tuney shit, you know what I mean? But I think the issue is people who listen to only mainstream hip hop, which is most people who listen to hip hop, it's just a huge thing in the scene where people are afraid of being corny or being perceived as corny. So they're not gonna put a lot of songs on the playlist just because if people don't know about that song, like you might get a guy who's like, "What the fuck is this shit, bro?"
Put this shit on. Yeah.
Like, I feel like in the metal scene, you put on some underground shit, you get some respect. It's not like that with hip
Depending
hop.
on the crowd.
Depending on the crowd. But
I can see that. No, I feel you.
Yeah, that
I
kinda
understand
does.
that.
yeah.
If I hear some chugging, hell yeah, we're in business.
Right.
You know what I mean?
A little bit of
cut from
respect for the
same-
art. Yeah.
Yeah, cut from the same cloth. If I hear a solo, like, hell yeah,
Mm-hmm.
cut from the same cloth. But hip hop's just so wide.
And it's really egoic. It's like even more so than metal, I
Like
would
Lil
say.
Dicky and NWA are in the same genre.
Yeah, it's crazy to
fucking
think
hilarious.
about.
You know what I mean? Like
That's
it's
crazy.
Does that lead into why you think there's less? Crowbar's possibly putting on bands that are like fucking, you've never heard of.
Yeah.
With hip hop, I hardly ever see that happen.
Yeah.
I don't see Drake bringing along people that you've never heard of. It's about 5 dudes who are on his label and have like gold records.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of like underground artists or smaller artists
Do you think they're
featuring
like
on.
it's the corny thing? You think they're like, oh, I don't want to associate with that guy and get thrown into that group or like?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
oh.
I just feel like a lot of the hip hop community has more of a closed mind with that kind of stuff. And I would say, while there is a lot of underground stuff that's just not good, like it's actually just not good, it is pretty corny. There's a lot of underground shit that's really pushing things forward that doesn't get recognition because people, like, they're just a little too closed minded, And then on top of it, it's an issue with funding because the hip hop nowadays is hip hop. It's not. It's designed to make money, and if if the record label doesn't get a guarantee that this is going to make money, and you're like, hey, I want to put this guy on the album, they're like, don't do that. And most hip hop artists
damn.
are kind of like
Wow.
under the control of their label.
Ooh, we talked about that with Jimi Hendrix and shit. That happens over here too sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a lot less though. You can make it with a small label in metal just because the community's totally different. But with
Exactly.
hip hop, it's like, oh yeah, I did all this work, I put out this album, I finally got a contract, and now I'm a slave for 10 years.
Yeah, and then they're
You know
like,
what I mean?
and they're
There's
like,
also
we're going to
that-
completely shift your artistry around now.
I'll
you
see
know?
like 5% of my money back if I'm lucky.
right.
Well, there's also there's kind of like a stigma about like being a SoundCloud rapper.
Mm-hmm.
When there's not really a stigma where it's like, yeah, me and my buddies have a metal band, and it's like, okay,
You know.
If you
Yeah.
say I'm a SoundCloud rapper, you're like, please get away from me. Like there's
Yeah.
like a
Don't
negative
touch me.
There's like a negative outlook on that stuff. But
Well, that's
also,
because there are a lot of SoundCloud rappers that just aren't good. Hip hop is really easy to make,
Low barrier entry or whatever.
really low barrier to entry. So I mean, a lot of artists will literally just pick up beats off YouTube and like
Yeah.
rap over it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't take a lot of. I mean, if you're really into it, it can take a lot of skill. You can put a lot of skill into it, but it doesn't take a lot of skill. And so you have a huge amount of artists who just.
that's a different thing about hip hop versus metal is that if you play someone else's song, it's called a cover.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you change the lyrics a little. It's a cover. It's a cover of Kill Switch Gates. It's a cover of Mother. It's a cover of AC/DC. It's a cover. It's never anything but.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even like, there's been really awesome covers, but the word cover has never left the chat. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like even Johnny Cash's cover of Hurt, or Bad Wolves' cover of the Cranberries. Everybody knows, and like I said, the word cover never leaves the chat. Whereas hip hop artists, they can take a song, redo all the lyrics, and it's
A new song.
a new song,
I think that's just because hip hop was built off of hip hop was built off of sound equipment. Like, in the sense that metal was built off of guitars and amps and just, vocals.
Yeah.
Hip hop was more built off of, like, producers who have all this crazy equipment, and most tracks, especially back in the day, were
turntables and shit.
were based off of sampling.
Yeah.
So sampling is such a common thing that it got to the point where like, I mean, there were whole arguments over like, is this song original because it has samples, and people just shut it down because they were like, you're not gonna call me a copycat just because. And there are people who are valid about that, but unfortunately that led to a lot of people who really are just kind of stealing other people's work, being able to just get away with it and get respect for it, you know?
Well, I don't know a whole lot about like the underground rap. I used to, when I listened to a lot of rap, I used to listen to a whole lot of rap. And I remember, I want to say it was called DatPiff. Is that still a thing now?
I'm not
like
familiar.
a big website where artists like Cassidy, Joe Budden, like a lot of the non-mainstream guys. I'm kind of dating myself right now, but
I haven't heard Joe Budden in a minute.
yeah, you know what I'm
Right.
talking about though. Like you never hear them on the radio. You know, they're great.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still around, or what is it now? Where is the scene?
I would say that now it's mostly on social media and apps like BandLab, which is like
BandLab's the shit.
BandLab's awesome. It's an app where a bunch of people just produce, and it provides you your own software to produce on, like built into the app.
Oh,
But then
wow.
it's also a social media platform where you can publish your music, you can connect with other artists,
Oh,
and I'm not sure how their algorithm works, but from what I understand, they connect you to artists within your scene. I think it's like whoever's listening to your stuff, what other stuff they listen to,
hell yeah.
and they'll recommend you different artists based on that, or just like based on what you're listening to compared to what other people are listening to.
Yeah.
And that can give you a good idea of like, okay, this guy kind of sounds like my stuff. This guy sounds like he could work well with my stuff. And so people connect with each other through that.
Well, that's the good part about at least producing is like you can be far away from each other, and I think that's kind of happening now with metal, because of all the plugins and everything that you can have. So you can, you know, I know a guy that writes with his band, and his band is 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
You know, and I assume that metal is late to that show.
Yeah.
As far as producing in hip hop was like the front runner to that.
Yeah, I'd say that's
know.
a safe assumption.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you got a prepared guitar riff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's guitar practice.
Yeah, man. It's guitar practice.
Oh,
Alright.
before you start playing, any news or upcoming projects or anything? Anything you want to say to the people?
I guess what I'll say is that I know I talk a lot about production and rap, but like I wanted to say before, I'm not trying to limit myself to any one specific genre. I like to just be as versatile as I can,
Yeah.
especially because, versatile artist is how I got into this in the first place. But
Yeah, for sure.
my current projects that I'm working on are like more techno hip hop oriented, and those should be out early next year. I should have an EP out
Hell
early
yeah,
next year.
dude.
But and I'll be on here probably.
Yeah,
Shout it out or
absolutely.
something.
We definitely want you to come back for sure to,
Yeah.
That would be
100%.
awesome.
to look at the new stuff. That'd
Yeah.
be sick.
But look out for other shit, because I'm working with my buddies. I'm trying to get as much made as I can across all different genres. And eventually I want to put it all together into like a greater project that's not just rap or metal or classic rock or anything. Something that, because my thing is I want to push these industries forward. So I think fusing genres in a way is how that's going to happen.
Okay.
Not necessarily in every case, because a lot of the time it's like leaning into one specific sound. But that's my general approach to how I go about it. So
Yeah.
I just don't want people to think like that I'm limiting myself to one specific thing, because in the future, I'm going to be all over the place. I mean,
Well, that sounds excellent. I'm definitely super excited to see what you come up with. We'll definitely keep in touch.
Mhm.
Ways to connect with you.
I don't have much right now.
All right.
But I will.
If you want to talk to Z, hit us up. We'll get in touch with him. We know the guy.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Guitar Practice Podcast on Twitter.
Absolutely, yeah. Send us a DM if you're interested in getting into some sort of music. We can get in touch with them and see if we can
100%.
hook y'all up.
Yeah. Sick,
100%.
man.
120 hour for beats. That's per him.
Yeah,
I
okay.
didn't make the rules.
120 million? No. I'm just-
Damn, boy.
I mean, 50K for a feature, straight up, bro.
Yeah.
We're taking 10% because we brought him to you.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah, man. Thanks for coming in. We really appreciate your time. It was extremely interesting. And,
Absolutely.
really kind of uncovered a lot of the mysteries behind the shit you hear all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Glad I can be here.
Hell
Sick,
yeah.
dude.
Well, thanks for coming in. Like I said, thank you again. We appreciate the time. Shout out to Corrosion for today's album art. I can't wait to see it. Last one was fucking brutal. Love it. It fits the fucking bill to a T. And now Z's going to play something for us. What are you going to play?
I'm going to play Heart Shaped Box by Nirvana.
What a classic.
Yes, sir. She eyes me like a Pisces when I am weak. I've been locked inside your heart-shaped box for weeks. I've been drawn into your magnet's armpit trap. Wish I could eat your cancer when you turn black. Hey, wait, I've got a new complaint. Forever indebted to your priceless advice. Hey, wait, I've got a new complaint. Forever indebted to your priceless advice. Your advice. Meat-eating orchids forgive no one just yet. Cut myself on angel hair and baby's breath. Broken hymen of your highness, I'm